Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be taking a look at Zendaya and her Chani from DUNE today. So there's been some information revealed, also some new looks and things like that. And I just want to kind of dive into it. There's a little bit of news about DUNE today. There's this video which I will throw out, and then there's also a discussion video basically around Sharon Duncan Brewster, the gender race bent character, because a lot of people have seen my other DUNE videos and just think that I'm applauding it non-stop, but I do have some critique of it. But straight from the outset, I will just get my kind of gripes out of the way. A lot of people threw their arms up and was like, if you don't think Zendaya is good, then you need to check out Euphoria. I will hand on my heart say, yep, perfect. I will take a look at Euphoria and see if she is a little bit better in that, because a lot of people, just take the Spider-Man, like I have myself, the Spider-Man role, and think that she's a one-note actress, which is wrong, of course. And there's been a bit of pushback from that. I'm not above saying, no, okay, I may be wrong. Let me go and check it out. So bear with me. But Zendaya, for me, is one of the alarm bells, only because I feel that the roles that I have seen her in, although limited, have been very one-note and very nonchalant. But again, remember, I will take a look at Euphoria. So I hope she's good. I hope she's not, unlikable and nonchalant in DUNE. But this is interesting anyway. This is over on Bounding Into Comics. I will leave the link down below in the description box. And let's get into it, right? So there's a brand new image of Zendaya with her still suit on and her eyes. Now, previous to that, we had a very basic image, but it was this one. And this is our first look at the eyes anyway, which some people seem to have a problem with due to the coloration. They were expecting it to be, well, I don't know what they were expecting it to be, actually. It's blue within blue. So I don't hate the way they're doing the eyes on this. I personally think it's one of those questionable things no matter what you do. I think people will question it regardless, but fine. I'm glad they're not glowing, put it that way. I don't hate this at all. So she shared this to her apparently 67.6 million followers. Jesus Christ. Side note, if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can look at dog pictures, Mr. H Reviews. Also my Twitter. Now obviously the caption just simply says DUNE. There's not much else there. And in terms of what else, we have this pointing out, the image is one of few that really lets us see what the Fremen will look like in the still suits, which we'd seen above. And again, this is, I still personally think that everything coming out of this is relatively good. I'm optimistic. I'm one of the people that are being, optimistic about this. It seems people from multiple avenues and walks of life and leanings are disliking DUNE, but personally I'm optimistic for this. I think this is looking good. I still have my reservations, which I'm covering today, but the still suits is one of my reservations, and this doesn't really help that. I don't know, it just doesn't look right, and I do think that these motorcycle gloves look really dumb. They almost look like carbon fiber. Here you could have changed it. It doesn't look like there's been any alteration to gloves. It looks like they've just taken the knuckles out of motorcycle gloves, and then that's been it, really. I'm sure most people will agree that that's a bit of a lazy tact there on the costume design. But that being said, this is one of the still suits. It would appear that this is part of the face mask here, and it looks fine. I'm hoping it's better in movement. This is the main part here, is that, although they look dumb stopped and not in motion and in stills, they could look really good in motion, and this may be why they're a little bit soft and loose in certain areas. And I will say this, I don't know what that is there. I will say this, the feet actually look pretty decent. The attention to detail on the feet is there. It almost looks like they've been wrapped. Quite like that. Now obviously it says, as well as the blue within blue eyes of the Fremen people and others who have consumed large quantities of the spice melange. Obviously, the film previously released separate images of Zendaya Chani through Vanity Fair, which is where we're getting all of this information from. Primarily is a Vanity Fair article. They have the exclusive on all of that. And as we scroll down, we also got to look at Sharon Duncan Brewster's gender and race swapped elite kinds, which this is causing controversy, and I'm going to get into in another video. So please do hit subscribe if you want to stay tuned for that. Now, Zendaya's image shared to Instagram is the best look at the blue within blue. Personally, I disagree. I think this is the best look, although I guess lighting wise, this shows a more relaxed sort of coloration. And I don't hate it. I do not hate it. I mean, this is the old one. You know, I'm sure most people can agree that, I don't know, it's a bit, I guess it's better than that. I think it's better than that. Anyway, now obviously it says from these photos, it definitely looks like director Denis Villeneuve is going for a much more subtle approach to the blue eyes compared to David Lynch's adaptation of Frank Herbert's book in 1984. I'm a fan of Lynch's Dune, to be perfectly honest. I really like that film. Now, obviously it says in that film, the blue within blue eyes instantly draw your attention and are the most noticeable feature of the Fremen people and those who have consumed large quantities of spice, which is true. So I guess, you know, from this perspective, it's a bit of a change, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Now, Chani's character arc. So here we go. This is an exclusive to Bounding Into Comics, which is why I'm even on this article. Now, obviously, according to their sources, now this is their sources, it is, I have not verified this yet. I've spoken to Midnight's Edge, and it seems legitimate to a degree. Midnight's Edge have some relatively good sources on this, and my personal sources as well. It seems fairly legitimate. Now, as for Zendaya's role as Chani in the film, a source tells Bounding Into Comics she will mainly be shown in visions that Timothée Chalamet's Paul Atreides has of her. In fact, Paul won't even know her name until much later in the film, when the two come face to face after Paul and his mother Jessica seek refuge among the Fremen people. So, there you go. Interesting way of doing it. That's fine. I don't see the issue with that at all. Their first interaction, we'll see Chani questioning Paul's greatness and telling him he looks like any boy, which he is. A lot of people will probably say, oh, well, this is, you know, why are they doing this? You know, this is woke. No, that's kind of in line with the book, to be perfectly honest. Their relationship will eventually deepen, with Chani giving Paul advice after his challenge to a duel to the death by a Fremen who rejects Lady Jessica's leadership. Before this duel, Paul relays to Chani the numerous visions he's had of her. Those visions include 1,000 futures that Chani involve killing him. A few where they lose each other, but in many where they fall in love. Not only does he detail these visions, but he reveals his fear of death. This revelation brings the two even closer together. Following the duel and a ritual undertaken by Lady Jessica, Paul partakes in the Water of Life, where he is bombarded with visions of the future that involve war. In between these visions, he comes to and finds himself in the process of making love to Chani. Interesting. As their lovemaking comes to an end, Chani will lean close to Paul. This image will be the first one he saw of her in his dreams from so long ago. Chani's role in the first film will be limited, as it will primarily be focused on the transition of House Atreides to the planet Arrakis, their fall at the hands of House Harkonnen, and Paul and Jessica's escape into the wilds of the planet, which, again, yeah, that makes sense. Director Denis Villeneuve confirmed a second film will follow the first one, and he told Vanity Fair, "I would not agree to make this adaptation of the book with one single movie. The world is too complex. It's a world that takes its power in details." And a lot of people's main gripe about this has been like, well, why aren't they filming them back to back? Well, it's mainly because the actor who's playing Paul, Timothy, does need to age. So, you know, filming them back to back would be pretty silly, to be honest. You need to have them, you know, a distance apart. I think that makes sense. Now, Chani's role in Frank Herbert's Dune, Chani will more than likely play a much larger role in the second film. Okay, because in Frank Herbert's book, she trains under Paul and Jessica in the Bene Gesserit martial arts and becomes an even deadlier warrior than she already was. She is key in bringing Paul out of his deep spice trance that he goes into in order to enhance his powers. So again, this is not huge in terms of, oh, it's woke, you know, this is part of the source material, guys. We'll get to the questionable things in a minute outside of, well, in the other video anyway, the race and gender swap character, because that's definitely questionable. But Zendaya's role and things like that, not overly questionable in any way, shape or form. She also gives birth to a child named Leto, but he is murdered as an infant during a Corino raid. And Chani does not technically become Paul's wife, rather she becomes his concubine. Be interesting to see if they do that. They may not. Paul marries Padisha Emperor Shaddam, daughter Princess Irulan. God, these names. However, Paul explains to Chani that the marriage is purely political. So it'll be really interesting to see how they go about this. And I guess that's the real telltale of whether they had ulterior motives with the film, right? Because in Dune Messiah, Chani dies giving birth to twins. So, look, there's a lot of difference. Okay? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But what do you guys think about this? Please do let me know down below in the comment section. Like I said, the original article is there. Also, I am making my own film. It is linked down below in the description box as a GoFundMe link. I am crowdsourcing it, along with a large sizable lump sum from my own personal cash, but this also enables me to release it where I want, i.e. on YouTube to you guys. So please do go and support original filmmaking. You know, a lot of people keep touting how they hate Hollywood and things like that. Well, look, put your money where your mouth is. For the price of a coffee, you can help an original film get made. It is a short film though, mind you, because these budgets don't stretch very far. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Mr. H. Take care.